tonight. Saskatoon police look to crack down on retail theft. Regina City Council passes the city's police budget. And why more Canadians are booking trips to Mexico instead of the U.S.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, December 15th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. The teen who lit a classmate on fire at a Saskatoon high school pleaded guilty Monday to attempted murder. The incident happened during the first week of school at Evan Hardy Collegiate last year. Hannah Spray has our top story.
The parents of the girl lit on fire at Evan Hardy Collegiate last year say their daughter is still recovering. They spoke through a family member at Court of King's Bench in Saskatoon Monday after the girl charged in the incident pleaded guilty to attempted murder.
Our daughter is strong in her heart and in her mind. Her spirit, it was never broken, even though her life was changed in an instant. She has been forced to live in her new normal. The horror of what has happened will never disappear. Our daughter will always wear the evidence of these crimes.
The agreed statement of facts, read in court, laid out what happened in the months leading up to the attack. The accused had been repeatedly messaging the victim, and her parents had even gone to police with their concerns. School officials were also aware of the potential for violence. They had a safety plan that involved bag checks when the accused arrived for class. But they didn't open her water bottle, nor did they read the journal entries where she said the victim was going to die that day. When she had her chance in a busy school hallway, the girl dumped her water bottle full of gas over the head of the victim and lit it on fire. The victim was severely burned, spending months in hospital, and still requires surgeries. Neither of the teens can be identified because of their ages at the time of the incident. The accused was 14 years old and the victim was 15. The accused also pleaded guilty to causing bodily harm to the teacher who jumped in to put out the flames. She returns to court in February for sentencing. Hannah Spray, CBC News, Saskatoon.
An employee of a potash mine in southeast Saskatchewan has died after they sustained injuries in an underground collapse. It happened early Monday at the Mosaic Company's K3 mine near Esterhazy. The person's name has not been released. In a statement, the company says its emergency response team was activated and all mining activity has been temporarily stopped. Mosaic says there is an investigation underway and that it is working closely with authorities. It's also extended its thoughts to the employee's family and friends. It was all hands on deck in Regina's South End Monday morning after a gas leak. Firefighters, police, and crews from Sask Energy arrived to find a leak in front of the Holiday Inn Express on Albert Street. Sask Energy says it happened after what they say was a third party contacting a natural gas service line near the hotel's parking lot. Sask Energy says crews are expected to remain on site until repairs are completed, which should be later Monday evening. As holiday shopping ramps up, Saskatoon police are running their quarterly retail crime blitz. Officers are placed in stores on random days to deter crime. Ashwarya Duda tells us more about the rise in retail crime and how police are hoping to bring it down.
Nancy Broughton was worried about security at her own Saskatoon store when she witnessed an armed robbery at this neighborhood Shoppers.
The poor gal who works at the perfume area kind of came running, and he was behind her with mask and a knife and yelling to open up the till.
Retail crime is something she's become familiar with.
In 2.5 years, we were broken into 5 times in the night, or had windows and doors broken, lots of merchandise taken, lots of shoplifters.
Saskatoon police are hoping to crack down on retail crime. Things like smash and grabs, weapons being pulled out in stores, even shoplifting, things police say are on the rise. Police say some criminals act alone while others are part of organized theft rings that work in groups, eventually selling goods online or at pawn shops.
I had an individual share with us the other day. He was in the height of his addiction when he got caught shoplifting in one of our blitzes. And he said, I saw the police. They were there. They were overt. They were there. I knew, but I was desperate. And he was sharing that he had a list of customers he grocery shopped for. And so he said, these are all people who have good jobs, but don't want to pay the full price of groceries.
Weber says those who commit retail crime come from all demographics.
We'll see new Canadians. We'll see people struggling with addictions. We'll see professionals. We see youth, adult. It does vary, but there's certain trends that are interesting.
So businesses like Broden's are adapting. Locked doors, cameras, more staff, even body-worn cameras, which police say reduce aggression almost instantly. Broden says witnessing the robbery at Shoppers changed how she sees what's happening in Saskatoon.
That is what, this guy was desperate for whatever reason, whether it was to get money for drugs or whatever. Also, it's really cold and people don't have a place to live or eat.
Police say retail blitzes help deter theft, and with Christmas shopping in full swing, they'll be keeping a close watch on businesses. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Regina City Council has voted to approve the city's 2026 police budget. Council voted 6-5 Monday afternoon to approve a record $131 million for the force next year. That's an increase of 7% from last year and comes as City Council is staring down major funding cuts to other city services. Otherwise, City administration says the mill rate will have to rise by over 15% in 2026. Regina's police chief says the service needs the funding for staffing, emotional resiliency training, and to finish building its police headquarters.
We appreciate that the city is in a tough fiscal situation. We are part of the city, and so we need to balance exactly what we need and not coming forward with something that we want. Obviously, we prepare a budget. It goes to our Board of Police Commissioners. We had a very good discussion with them. They ultimately approved that budget, and then we brought it to City Council today.
City Council will be debating its 2026 budget all this week. Several dozen delegates are scheduled to appear at City Hall during deliberations. The final vote on the budget and the mill rate increase is set for Friday. Saskatoon City Council will consider buying 6 properties with an eye on solutions for homelessness. The vacant land is located at 3 different locations in or near the Riversdale and Pleasant Hill neighborhoods. 2 properties are north of Optimist Park and are owned by Imperial Oil. A city report says those 2 plots could be combined with an adjacent city-owned parcel. The cost to buy the properties totals $1.7 million. The money would come from the federal government to address homelessness and encampments. City Council meets on Wednesday to discuss the purchases. The rural municipality of Prince Albert is the latest location in the province to approve a development by United Farms of Alberta. The RM has given the green light for UFA to build a new bulk fuel and cardlock gas station south of Prince Albert. It'll be located at the corner of Highway 2 and Elevator Road. UFA plans to build directly across from the Co-op bulk fertilizer plant. UFA says the bulk fuel plant will focus on the trucking industry, forestry sector, and agri-producers.
Oh, it's huge for the RM. I mean, it's going to be a good tax base for the RM, but it also helps to draw business into the RM. More businesses will want to move out as more business develops here. We already have the Co-op across from them and the possibility of more businesses going along our service road.
UFA says the bulk fuel store will employ about 5 people and estimates the business could be up and running by late next year. It has also submitted plans to the RM for a second and third phase for the site, which would include a farm and ranch store and its own fertilizer plant. British Columbia is being battered by another round of heavy rain, and officials are warning residents to be prepared to evacuate at a moment's notice.
The ground is saturated in many areas. The rivers are full. Additional rainfall is going to increase the potential for more flooding and landslides. Folks should avoid riverbanks and waterways. The water is very high and the banks may not be stable.
As much as 80 millimeters of rain is expected in the Skagit Valley and parts of the Fraser Valley, including Chilliwack and Abbotsford. Abbotsford is still reeling from an atmospheric river that hit last week, which caused widespread flooding, road closures, and power outages. Heavy rain is also expected across Vancouver Island and much of the BC coast, including Metro Vancouver. Well, we ended last week in the deep freeze with temperatures into the -30s in some places overnight. But things very nicely warmed up through the weekend, making the walk to work Monday in downtown Regina much more tolerable. Some of us actually getting above freezing through the day, well above freezing in some places. But winter's wrath is only just beginning. The nice weather, well, of course, it's not going to last long. We have some snow on the way, and it is going to be significant for some of us. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf has all the details in her forecast after the break. Australian leaders are promising to toughen the country's gun control laws following a mass shooting that killed at least 15 Jews on Sunday. Police shot the 2 suspected gunmen, killing one of them. And in Sydney, where the shooting took place, people are still reeling. Jennifer Yoon has more.
At the site of a massacre targeting the Jewish community, grief, fear, and defiance, lighting the menorah while remembering those shot celebrating Hanukkah. 2 gunmen opened fire at a Hanukkah event Sunday night on Australia's Bondi Beach, killing over a dozen and injuring even more.
We're a heartbroken community. We feel absolutely shattered. We feel that we've been abandoned.
It feels really vulnerable. It feels like you always hear that on the news, but it never happens to us here.
Among those killed, a Holocaust survivor who reportedly died shielding his wife, a rabbi who helped organize the celebration, a French national who was a promising soccer player, and a 10-year-old girl named Matilda, whose parents are left despondent. Dozens more are still recovering in hospital, including the man who disarmed one of the gunmen with nothing but his bare hands. Also in hospital, police say, one of the 2 alleged gunmen, a father and son duo who is in critical condition.
We do have a 24-year-old male in hospital at the moment. Based on his medical condition, it is likely that that person may face criminal charges.
The other alleged gunman, his father, died in a shootout with police. Police have raided a house believed to be their home, but so many questions remain unanswered, including the motive behind the attack. The Australian Prime Minister is blaming extremism.
These 2 evil people have engaged in this act of anti-Semitism, driven by ideology. It's an extreme perversion of Islam.
But some Jewish Australians say this horror could have been avoided had the Australian government done more to fight anti-Semitism. Jewish organizations say there have been more attacks against the community in the past 2 years.
We had, I suppose in many ways, warned government and higher authorities of the possibility and the risk, and it feels almost like we were unheard, almost invisible.
Local police are beefing up security for the Jewish community. They say they'll do everything they can to make sure the community feels safe again. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Stats Canada says the country's inflation rate held steady in November at 2.2%. That's lower than economists expected, but the price of food is way up. Grocery prices were up 4.7% in November from a year earlier. That's the biggest increase since December 2023. The cost of fresh fruit, especially berries, drove the increase, as did the higher prices for most processed foods. The price of beef was a big factor as well, up almost 18%, mainly due to fewer cattle across North America. And weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now. I've enjoyed this nice warm-up, Mickey, but I'm scared for what's possibly to come.
Ethan, I don't know what I can say to assuage your fears other than it's winter, and we're seeing that across the province today. We're especially seeing some warnings, just yellow level. So let's take a look at some of the warnings that are active across southern Saskatchewan and central Saskatchewan right now. So we've got a wind warning across the south. We're seeing winds gusting up to 90 kilometers an hour tonight. And then we're seeing a freezing rain warning in that belt across the central region this evening. So conditions will be slippery. Just taking a closer look at some of those winds. As you can see here, folks, we're looking at gusting past that 80 kilometer an hour range. Currently, those are our high winds for today. And as well as our daytime highs, though, what Ethan was speaking about was some of these higher temperatures, 12 degrees in Maple Creek. You wouldn't know that we're halfway through December with those kind of temperatures. Our skies right now are showing a little bit of that rain in that southwest corner, and then a little bit of a mix as we get further north into the central region. But I do want to take a look at the coming days because we will see some snow tomorrow, and then we've got a heavier system coming our way as of Wednesday. This is going to bring heavy snow across the central region and into the south as well, but definitely those heavier numbers in the central. And then taking a look at some of our wind forecasting here, folks. Those are those high winds we're looking at tonight with those wind warnings. And then as we get into the day tomorrow, we are going to see a little bit of a return to some of those stronger winds by the evening. But as for our accumulation, we've got a little bit of snow before Wednesday, but then we've got those very heavy numbers as we get into the week. And as well for the north, we're seeing a bit more of a gradual snowfall, and that heavier snow is going to pass by folks in northern Saskatchewan. So taking a look at Regina's week, we've got maybe a mix of rain and snow Tuesday, so could be a little bit of rain depending on that high we see there near -1, near that freezing point, but we're going to see those strong winds Tuesday and Wednesday. Then as we get into the weekend, we're going to see a little bit of relief from some of that stronger gusting as we get into Saturday, Sunday. Not seeing too much snow, perhaps a little bit of snow Monday. And then for Saskatoon, we are looking at very heavy snow for Wednesday, windier conditions as well for those days. So that strong gusting with that wind is going to make some nasty conditions on the road. We got a little bit of a break from snow before we see it come back Monday. So Ethan, it's a good time to get out that snow gear, good time to kind of strengthen up for our winter season we've got ahead of us this week.
Yeah, good to prepare if you haven't already. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you, Ethan.
Well, this weather may make you want to head south, but this year, fewer travelers from Canada are heading to the U.S. and more are booking trips to Mexico. Karen Pauls has more.
Charles Burt and Marilee Mollard are getting advice from their travel agent on where to travel this winter.
So, have you guys decided on where you would like to go?
Well, on the bucket list is Puerto Vallarta.
The Manitoba couple usually spends weeks or even months at a trailer park in Westlaco, Texas, but not this year.
Since the election of Trump and the insults that he placed on our country, 51st date and all of that garbage, we decided that, no, we're not going to spend money down there.
They're not the only ones making that decision. According to the Mexican Ministry of Tourism, the number of Canadians flying to Mexico increased by 11.3% between January and September compared to the year before, an increase of almost 200,000 tourists. Melia Hotels International is seeing it at its 8 Mexican resorts.
Definitely in the last year, compared to the previous year, we have seen an increase of 22% of Canadians coming to our Mexican properties.
Meanwhile, the United States is experiencing what some analysts are calling the Trump effect. The U.S. National Travel and Tourism Office is reporting a 24% decrease in Canadian tourists in the first 6 months of this year.
Well, we are seeing really a meaningful realignment, as I would refer to, of Canadians booking less to the U.S. Year to date, we've seen on average a 37% decrease of new bookings from Canada to the U.S.
Yeah, there's tons to do in Puerto Vallarta. There's tons, and in all around that whole area, so you won't be bored.
Good.
Perfect.
Back in Manitoba, where winter has settled in, this couple is looking forward to their Mexican vacation.
You can make the choice. You can support Canada, which is exactly what we did and are doing, and support Mexico.
Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
After the break, a unique way to pay your parking ticket in North Battleford, all while supporting some worthwhile causes in the city. And all you have to do is buy a toy. We'll have that story plus the rest of your snowy forecast when we come back. Well, if you owe money on a parking ticket, or a few, there's a unique way you can pay those off in North Battleford this holiday season. This is the third year the city is running what it calls Toys for Tickets. You can pay off your fine by buying a toy that costs the same or more than your ticket. The city will then donate the toy to the local food bank or the Battleford's Interval House, a shelter for women and children.
It could be a hard time financially for them, so just to receive toys from the Toys for Ticket campaign means a lot because kids will get toys that maybe the moms couldn't get this year for them.
So I'm not exactly sure of the exact number of the toys that we've delivered, but I can tell you we filled up 3 truckloads. So it seems like it's a very positive program and people seem to respond to it quite well. I know people don't like getting tickets, but this is the one time of the year I kind of encourage people to park illegally just to make sure that the kids do receive some good presents this year.
And if you'd like to take part, you're asked to bring your toys unwrapped, plus your receipt, to North Battleford City Hall. The campaign runs until Friday. I have a feeling, Mickey, that some people may be getting parking tickets if they're parking in snow routes over these next few days.
Oh, Ethan, there will be some people parked in snow routes. I can guarantee it. Santa's bells are just jingling with toys at this point from those tickets. Let's take a look at our overnight temperatures tonight. Santa's not here yet, but these temperatures are a little bit warmer, so hopefully we see a bit of a cool down for him coming up to the 25th. A warmer night tonight in the south, around -10 for the central region. We're looking at a cooler one in the far north tonight. We're seeing a little bit of flurries there, and we will continue to see some flurries into tomorrow as we get into the midday hours, and those should be cleared up with a mix of sun and cloud by the time we hit the afternoon. As for the south, tomorrow we are going to be seeing quite a bit of snow as we start the morning, and then a little bit more moving into that southwest corner as we get into the afternoon. But hopefully some sunny skies mixed in there and a little bit of a warmer day again tomorrow as well for folks in south and central. So it'll be a warm time, Ethan, to get a parking ticket if you're in the Battlefords for that Toys campaign.
Might blow out of your hand too with all that wind.
Absolutely it will, Ethan.
Okay, thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
And that is our news for this Monday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching.